One, don't even start the car. Don't do nothing. Take your oil cap off and check the bottom of it. You want to look for white or creamy looking instead of black. This one is dirty, disgusting, gross, thick black. For this vehicle, that's what you want. But it's on the dot, and same goes if it's milky or white at all, don't buy it. But you want to make sure that there's no rust or like green corrosion stuff. So in these ones are just fine. Nothing wrong with them. And they didn't do a very good job. This is shoddy. It's not how it's supposed to look. It's done weird. It's starting to corrode right where my thumbnail is. This is not what you want. Where another one at the end of this battery goes, the cable, is actually right down here. And that end right here is all green and it's rusty. So this is my coolant reservoir. Take it off. And same as the oil, make sure that this isn't creamy. Look inside the tank itself, but if there's any sludge in there like there is on this one, just something to consider and maybe bring up that you might have issues later. Like this is not good. While the engine's off, have a look at your belt. My belt could use replacing. There's grooves in it. No good, means wear. Check and pull on your alternator. Make sure this pulley doesn't move. Same with your AC. Make sure nothing moves. Actually, this clutch should move. And that's why I don't have AC, because this ain't working. But pull on the belt. Make sure it doesn't just slide off. It's leaking from here. This isn't a big deal. If it looks like that, it's probably fine. My power steering pump is down here. It is currently missing some fluid. I have a power steering leak. Let's just put that back. My brake chamber. Pop it open. Oh look, fluid, we're good. Now, big important. Big important. I got confused on this last time when I first initially checked. So see how this looks black? It's not actually black. This brake fluid is clear. It's just it's so old, but it's not actually black. Make sure it's not black, the fluid. This is just an illusion. If it's black, you got an issue. No good. Also, get this off your hand as soon as possible. Don't get it on paint. Make sure these brake lines coming out of the reservoir, leaks. Make sure all these little lines, there's nothing leaking from them. Make sure it's all dry. Your little starter relay is going to be on the other side, I believe. It's going to be where my air filter is, around here. But just make sure that all these connections aren't corroded. Mine aren't. They're okay. Same with this. This truck started a little bit hard. Your gasoline engine shouldn't start that hard. But all my gauges work. Every gauge, gas, battery light, your engine temp, your oil pressure. If your battery light isn't at roughly 14, there's an issue. This engine is very loud, it just naturally is. If yours sounds like this, don't buy it. This truck is supposed to sound like this. It sounds gas motor is not. It does, don't buy it. Any sprays in it, or things coming off of it, and making like a squeal noise, that's something to note. Your exhaust pipe should sound steady. Kick the exhaust pipe. Make sure nothing is hanging down. Just kick it. It's solid. It's good. Smell the exhaust. This one is going to smell like dog diesel, but smell the exhaust, and if it smells sweet or not like regular old gasoline, there's an issue. Another telltale sign that you may have front suspension issues is your tire wear. So for example, this Looney, put it in the middle of the tread. See where it's sitting? Just under the goose, the loon. Jeez. That's good. When you put it further away, the rubber is not just directly under the loon anymore. That means the inside is wearing quicker than the outside. So put your finger in there and feel. There is a big difference between these two. And these are new tires too. Well, newish. But loon. Inside's wearing quicker. Your differential should not be leaking from anywhere. Mine is not. That is good. Is there a spare tire under there? Check it underneath the truck. Check your shocks. Make sure there's nothing leaking. This is just rusty, and that's fine, but there's no cracks. Check your leaf spring. Make sure that all these leaves are on the same plane. When I run my hand against these, I guess the top one's a little off. That's fine, but if any have shifted more than that, there's an issue. Check the shackles. Make sure that these are solid, and when you move them, they don't fall off or come apart. When you're under here, look at your brake hoses. This is my brake hose. Nothing's coming out of here. There's no liquid leaking. At the drum, it's probably going to be a drum in the back. This is also the brake hose, the metal hose, which connects to there. Just look where it goes into the drum. See that there's no leaks. While you're laying on the ground, looking like a fool, this ain't good. This is no good. It is rotting into the cab. The appearance may give DOT officers and police reason to pull you over and make you do a VI, a vehicle inspection. Parking brake. No, should be through that hole. Fact of the matter is, this thing's dangling. So every time you go over a bump, it's just doing. This is pretty picky, but check in between the cab and the box. See if there's any crap in there. In fact, in mine, there's a board. Have a look between the box and the cab and make sure that it's straight. Make sure it's straight. Make sure that one side isn't leaning into the other. Or if you can't see through there, there's a problem with the frame. It might not drive straight down the road. Coming out of the transfer case, this is what the U-joint is supposed to look like. Not this destruction mess. Put your hand on the drive shaft. Try and wiggle it. If it ain't moving, you're good. Do that with every single one. Do that with that part of the shaft going to the diff. And have a look at the U-joints too. have a look at all the lines going along the frame. Make sure none of these wires have frays in them. If it's covered in loom, this is just plastic crap. The wires are inside. If it has this over it, great. Maybe just peek inside, open this up. Yours shouldn't have just a brake line hanging out. That's not even on there. This is your fuel tank. Make sure there's no liquid on it on the bottom. Make sure it's not leaking. Have a look at the frame. This is the frame. Try and put your hand through it. If there's any holes through this very large piece of steel, you got issues. Check this cross member too. Check that there's no like blatant, disgusting rust holes. Like this is fine. This is meant to be there. Just make sure there's no big rust boys emerging. Okay, front wheel. Brake line. No drips, no leaks. Good. If it's four-wheel drive, it's gonna have these axles going to the wheel. If that boot there is ripped or torn, and that one too, there's an issue. You need that replaced. Same, check that there's no leaks down here. Also, move these suspension components with your hand. Nothing's happening, it's okay. Move this control arm, see that it's not loose. Just move them all, see if they don't move. If there's movement, you got problems. Same with top control arm too. I don't even know if you can see, but move it, grab it, twist it, pull it, bop it. If your truck looks like this, do not buy it. You got some ultra mega issues going on. I know why. Do your door handles work? Are there door handles? Do your locks work? Do your windows work? No keys in the ignition, but do they work? I don't think yours will have power, but do your power mirrors work? Mine don't, because mine are manual. So the locks work manually? Check that. Do your lights work? Do your signals work? Does your inside interior switch work? Mine do. On your truck, there will be a rocker switch with the fuel door. Make sure the 2 fuel tanks work, because those trucks have 2 fuel tanks. It is very, very common that one of the tanks doesn't work. Do your hazards work? Windshield washer. My radio doesn't work. My AC doesn't work, but heat works. Ask them if the CD player works. If there's floor mats, take the floor mat out. Stomp on it. If it's or solid like this, good. Have a look. If there's any blatant holes, you can even pull this entire carpet section out. Floor. Mine, I'm not gonna go anymore, but mine's good. While you're under here, check all the wires. Make sure it's not a disgusting mess. I would, with this one here, I would question that, why there's 2 missing from it. Wiggle the seat. Make sure your seat don't move. Oh. Ew. Ew. Pull on them. Good.